Hi, Paige Thompson, Russ, DeKalb Asgrow, Technical Agronomist for Northwest Iowa. I'm here to talk to you about some of my favorite agronomic resources that I use throughout the season. And today I will also go over some weather updates as well from these resources that I use. So let's get started. First off is AgSeed Select, and you'll see the link up above there that can get you to this site. So there's a lot of things on this site that you can utilize throughout the entire year. You know, a lot of great tools here. You'll get some local recommendations on products. You can also see that there's a full product library to which you can build your own seed guide. This can be given to growers, which can be personalized to their operations. Growers can also get on here as well and build their own. I also like the agronomic library. There's a lot of great information in there that if you have an in-season question or want to seek out research on a topic yourself, you can definitely get that from here. At the end of the season, at harvest time, you can find local yield results, and there's also some super informative information on climate. So I do utilize this site quite often. Another site, another Bayer site is www.decalb.com and www.asgrow.com. You can kind of see up here too what you're working with. So you can find a plethora of information. You know, planting will get underway pretty soon. And if you have any last minute checks, you can get on here and determine optimal planting rates for your corn. There's planter settings as well. You can tweak your planter settings if need be, and you can get some information on www.decalb.com. And also on the Asgrow side of things, there's some great information to dig into as well. The Iowa 4-inch soil temperatures. Gosh, I have been on this many times along with checking my own soil temperatures in the fields in my area. So we have seen quite a fluctuation come through. Soil temperatures across my area is 46 to 50 degrees as of yesterday. You know, we're going to see a low of 26 tonight and a possible freeze warning in some parts of my area in Northwest Iowa. You know, a little sunshine would do wonders for us, but another thing, just to piggyback along that, is some areas receive more moisture than others. So I would say there's no need to push it when the soil is not completely fit. That will set us up for some issues down the road. So looking like consistent high 50s, low 60s to come after this week. That will definitely pull these 4-inch soil temperatures up, but we're pretty darn close there with that 50 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal to get things going. The Iowa Drought Monitor, you know, I know we can't control Mother Nature and moisture that we receive, but I do look at this quite often throughout the season just to see where we're at. But one thing that we did find last year is that we can grow some pretty darn good crops in an abnormally dry, droughty year. So timely rains are key. That is what we found in the 2021 growing season. So just because we might see some tough conditions on the drought monitor doesn't mean that we can't end up with some pretty awesome yields. But as you see across the Northwest Iowa, North Central and Central Iowa, a lot of abnormally dry, just a little bit of a moderate drought, but gosh, we've been getting some rains that have definitely been helping that soil moisture profile. The ISU Mesonet, I do use this a lot. It has a vast amount of weather tools. Oh my gosh. You know, when you pull up this website at the top, you'll come to a page with many, many maps that you can generate whatever you're looking for. I like to look at departure from normal temperatures and precipitations throughout the year, soil moisture, stress days. It does have a great growing degree unit page as well, with a lot of different areas that it's checking throughout the state of Iowa. Sometimes I've looked at the windrows before, just a good resource when it comes to questions along the edge effect of fields. But a really neat site with a lot of different stuff. But I like when you pull up this website, this page here, it's pretty user-friendly as far as choosing what you want. This is one of those from the ISU Mesonet that I look at, the monthly precipitation temperature, precipitation ranks. I like to compare year to year. This one's been an interesting one to look at, definitely. Again, one of my favorites as well, the Precipitation Departure. As you can see this year, central Iowa and north central Iowa has received some pretty good rains this spring, and you can kind of see the areas that are just a little bit behind. But I should have pulled up last year's because I think we were quite a bit behind. But nonetheless, you can kind of see where things are trending in the state of Iowa on the precipitation. I use this corn growing degree unit calculator the most. This is the High Plains Regional Climate Center site. I use this to compare crop progress from past years, and also it's great for projecting the likelihood of early or late frost. But especially I take a look at this to look at the projected black layer, silking and black layer dates. It has been pretty darn close or right on in most situations since I first used this. So again, it's a really great site to look at that physiological maturity requirements and other projections. So this is one, I like the map, the graph that it comes out to. You can see down below those lines. It's not quite listed out. You have to hover over it on the site, and it'll tell you where the projected silking and black layer dates are. It's pretty neat, and you will put in your planting date in there, of course, and that's where it projects it off to. It starts with a map of Iowa, and you can zoom in and click your area and get the projections exactly where you're farming. You know, I do like scouting during the season as far as for insects. You know, I like to keep ahead of early insects. Bean leaf beetles have been a quiet insect for us in our area in the last few years, but it is one not to forget about. So Iowa State does a really good job as far as projecting mortality rates. And in our particular area in northwest, north central Iowa, it was the highest, 87 to 90% mortality. So regardless the mortality rates, keep this pest in the back of your mind when you're doing some early scouting of soybeans. You know, the first adult will feed on recently emerged soybean plants, and bean leaf beetles are quick, but look for holes in the leaves, chewing on the stems and chewing on the cotyledons. But as you can see, we shouldn't have an issue, but when you're out scouting, definitely keep this one in mind. Black cutworm moth monitoring. You know, black cutworms, although a sporadic pest, I can remember a few times that they did wreak havoc in cornfields and warranted some intense scouting and some insecticide treatments. But right now, where we have some traps set out or where Iowa State is monitoring them, it looks like they've been pretty quiet. So we should be getting some more data on this week. You can check that website up there. It looks like this was reports for the third week update. We should be getting another week coming soon, but as you can see, it's been pretty quiet. Soybean gall midge. This one has been talked about a lot more the past few years. It's moving east more and more each year. I did see a little bit of it in my neck of the woods in Pocahontas area and Beebe County. So you can see the website up there, soybeangallmidge.org. You know, this is a monitoring site. So there's some really neat videos on how to scout for the soybean gall midge. There's also been injury scores that have been come about. So it's an explanation of them. And then also you can sign up for notifications in your area. As you can see the map down there, kind of where things are at, where they've been found the past few years. But there's also 2022 soybean gall midge series recording to learn a little more about it. But I urge you, this is something that you can sign up for notifications and keep you up to date on the soybean gall midge. Insect forecasting, you know, with this one, I do sign up for alerts as well, but obviously in the field every day also. Like the soybean aphid one, the corn rootworm one, you know, the soybean aphids are definitely temperature driven. So it's kind of easy to figure out where they'll be about. Corn rootworm growing degree unit driven. So you can kind of get a good idea as far as when they're going to be hatching and out and about. But, you know, sign up for recent insect alerts. Check out the migration map of these insects. And there's also pest details such as how to scout for them, how to manage them, the impact on crops and the life cycle. Life cycles are huge. Something very good to understand with our crop pests. When it comes to diseases, one piece of scouting that I like to do throughout the season is, you know, check different hybrids as far as their tolerance to diseases and just to see what's out there. So this is a great resource as well. There's an encyclopedia of all crop diseases, a lot of crop diseases, I should say, a yield loss calculator, a severity estimation tool. There's also some neat podcasts and newsletters, CCA and CCU quizzes if you need that, and a lot of fun research publications. So the Crop Protection Network does a good job as a neat resource to refer back to if you need to. Oh, tar spot. Tar spot's been a big one this past winter. I've gotten a lot of questions around this, and this is an app that I'll be putting on my phone. It's called Tar Spotter. I'm trying this out for the first time this year. You know, I will also ground truth it with my shoe method. So one thing that you can do in your yard throughout the season, especially closer to flowering, you can walk around your yard in the morning, and if you have wet shoes from the dew, it's likely that the crop has had 7 hours of leaf wetness or more that have occurred in the field. But along with that one, try out this Tar Spotter app. So it'll lead you to, you click on new field, and you'll fill in the information. The GPS coordinates are used to determine if that weather is favorable for development of tar spot fungus during the corn flowering timeframe in that specific field. So this uses temperature, dew point, humidity, and precipitation to predict favorable conditions for most of the growing regions, so corn growing regions. So something to try out. Like I said, I've gotten a lot of questions about tar spots, and that main driver is that 7+ hours of leaf wetness. Sporecaster app, I've used this a little bit. It's not a big one in my area as far as white mold goes, but this is to monitor white mold. I know my counterpart to the west, Jim McDermott, has a little more of a white mold issue than I do. But the purpose of Sporecaster is to assist farmers in making, you know, those management decisions for white mold and soybeans. So the best time to manage white mold is during flowering, R1 and R2 growth stages, when that apothecia are present in the soil surface. So that's that small mushroom-like structure that's coming out of the soil. But so yeah, this is something to consider if you have had white mold issues in the past. Herbicide classification charts, you can see that website up there to get to it. I do use this quite often as well. Gosh, we have so many more premixes and not a lot new herbicides coming through, but there are some. So you'll see that there's a fungicide classification, insecticide classification, and herbicide classification, which it goes through the modes of action and herbicide class. And you know, like I said, if there's premixes, it's lists out what is all in that mix. So I really like these classification charts. Very helpful. And last but not least, climate field view. Has a lot of neat scouting capabilities to it. I do use this quite often. I like the pins that you can drop. You can put pictures, you can write notes. It'll save it. It puts the GPS coordinates so you can go right back to that spot year after year. So, or throughout the entire season. So yeah, just wanted to tell you super quick some of my favorite agronomic resources that I use throughout the season. If you have any questions, sure let me know. And have a great 2022 season. Thank you.